Hi everyone, it's Crystal here of Homesteading, Vancouver Island. I'm in my garden today. It's early September. It's nearing the end of summer and there's a definite shift in the weather and the temperatures here where we live on Vancouver Island. So it's going to be time to put this summer garden to bed pretty quickly. So I just wanted to give you a quick tour today and let's have a look at what my garden looks like today. Okay, so here we are in the garden. I'm going to start down on this end today because I like standing in the sun. It's nice and sunny here. So we have over here, I have some bush beans that are planted, which are starting to get ready for harvest here. There's still lots of beans coming on these. These are contender beans. They're green bush bean. They look pretty nice. So I have quite a few of those plants over here in what used to be my garlic bed. So waiting for those beans. I do also have some pickling cucumbers that are growing up here. They're not very big and I don't really see any cucumbers on them yet, so not sure if I'll have any this year. Might be too late for those ones. I have some other beans, some pole beans that are growing up these nice little stakes that I made earlier, and there are a few peas under that trellis area as well. I have a really nice squash growing all along my fence there, and that is a buttercup squash. You can see one of those squashes right there. I'll have to show you another one over here that's like the biggest squash I think I've ever seen. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get at it here, but I'll go through my corn a little bit. Alright, there it is. Look at that thing. There's my hand. Anyways, it's super big. It's hard to tell just how big it is from here, but I imagine that thing weighs, I don't know. I'm not even gonna guess, but it's bigger than any squash I've ever grown, so that's pretty exciting. So that's my corn bed. The corn was not very great this year. That's like about as big of corn as I've got, so nothing great, nothing that mature. Behind the corn, there are some Blue Lake pole beans growing up in there. They're doing pretty well. I've harvested some already. And there's some more right there, but they're all kind of underneath there. I've got to harvest some more. And I do have an acorn squash on the ground here. Oh, there's a squash down in there, under there. Can't really see it. In front of the corn, I have a row of leeks, which are doing okay. Definitely need to get some manure or some compost and throw it onto everything here for the fall. These are my squash plants here. I have zucchini and some patty pans, and I noticed I have a nice patty pan there to harvest. And then under here, whoa, there's a giant zucchini, a couple zucchinis, so maybe we'll still get some more. Lots of nice blossoms starting there, so we'll see how the weather is. I have a cantaloupe back in there, which I don't think has produced any fruit on this one. These are all my broccolini plants here, and I haven't seen any florets yet, so we will see as the colder weather sets in. We might be seeing something there. Over here I've got pumpkins. There's a sugar baby pumpkin. That's one of the only ones on this side. I grew sugar baby pumpkins, and we also tried to grow some giant pumpkins. We didn't get any giant pumpkins, but there's a pumpkin there. There's a pumpkin there. Not a bad size. The best one we have though is over here, and that's kind of an odd shaped pumpkin, but there it is. That's a nice pumpkin. And I've got another sugar baby one over there. But it's getting a bit late now to set any more squash, so that'll probably be it for the season for squash. And over here I have some cabbage, and unfortunately I did try to do an experiment with placing pantyhose over the top of the ball of cabbage to protect it from the cabbage moth butterflies, but I inadvertently ended up putting the pantyhose on after they had obviously laid eggs on it, because I came out to look and there was white moths underneath the pantyhose all eating the cabbage. So it wasn't a very good experiment. Next time I will have to try and put the pantyhose on well before I see those cabbage moths flying around, because it was a bit too late this year, I guess. But anyways, still some decent cabbage heads here. I've got broccoli over here. I've got my cucumber in there, which I harvested quite a bit off of. Got some various greens, broccoli. These are Brussels sprouts, which I have yet to see a Brussels sprout on. Some more cabbage and whatnot. I am leaving the rest of my scarlet runner beans now just to develop into seeds. So I'm just letting the pods get really big, and I'm going to leave them on here until they're completely dried out and they're ready just to save that seed. And you can use the seed for planting next year, or you can use it to cook up like a dry bean. Got a bunch of leeks here. Got carrots and parsnips still in the bed. Not doing super fantastic though. I still need a lot more nutrients in these beds here, and I'm going to try to get some more manure together for the fall and place it on top of everything here. Rosemary and sage looks nice. I do have some nice peppers that are still going. So I've got, this is a jalapeno plant. I've got quite a few nice jalapenos on this plant. And this one here is a bell pepper. And I've got some dark colored and green bell peppers under here. Got some cherry tomatoes. Got 2 plants of tiny Tim tomatoes here. And this is another pepper plant. I have, these are Hungarian yellow hot peppers. And this one over here I think is a Thai red chili pepper. Got my rhubarb. What else did I miss? Oh, I've got celery. I've got a few celery plants over here. Not doing too badly. Hopefully with the colder weather they'll start to perk up a bit, but just tiny little celery stalks. Nothing too big. What else? Rhubarb I harvested. It's just coming back. Spaghetti squash was disappointing this year. That is one of my 2 spaghetti squash that I got this year, and they're teeny tiny, so not a good squash year for me. Some more peppers over here. I've got a cucumber growing here. This is a patio snacker cucumber. There's a few cucumbers still going on it. Hopefully we'll still be able to harvest a few off of here. They're really good eating cucumbers. Something exciting is in this cantaloupe I placed in this pot. I'm letting it grow up here, but I have some cantaloupe here. Still kind of small. I don't know if this is gonna be getting to maturity or not. There's a little baby one beside it. Actually, over here is another cantaloupe. And, whoops, darn, there's a little cantaloupe there. So we'll see what happens with those. Might be too late now to get any kind of maturity from them. Got lots of calendulas in these beds. Over here, I've got more cucumbers. These are sort of like an English variety cucumber, and you can see I've just got little baby cucumbers that I'm hoping will still mature. Got turnips over here. You can see some of them are nice and big, some of them are not. Didn't really thin them out at all. And over here, more cucumbers, pickling cucumbers. I've got lots of gooseberries here. And these are the gooseberries. If I open that up, you can see that's what they look like. Just like a papery husk, and on the inside it's just like a little gooseberry. They're sweet, tart, they're quite good. Anyways, I've got lots of them here. They just popped up everywhere. Strawberries are coming back. You can see I've got some nice strawberries starting to grow on these plants. The mint is coming back really nicely. It's nice to see all the cold weather crops just starting to come back a bit. Still got some peppers on here. Peppers are still enjoying the afternoon heat. Parsley. These are cayenne peppers, which are doing nicely. And I still have tomatoes in these two beds here. So I've got some bigger tomatoes that are still green. We'll see if they start to ripen a little bit. Otherwise, I can always take them off and just let them ripen in the house. Got some nice zinnias and calendulas in the beds here. Another strawberry bed here, more mint. Some strawberries under here. Yeah, tomatoes. So overall, the garden's definitely winding down. I'm going to let the tomatoes and the peppers finish off as best they can. Hope for more squash, hope for more beans. Wait to see how big that corn will get. But pretty much that's it for the summer crops. And then, like I said, I'm gonna try to get some compost or horse manure or steer manure, all kinds of nutrients I need to add to the soil before I can start planting anything else. The next crop I might plant will just be the garlic, my garlic bed, and I'll probably do that in October sometime. So that's it for today, and hope you enjoy the rest of your summer. Happy gardening. Thanks for watching.